We are back, baby. Thank you so much for joining us for Passion and Faith. We're returning today with an amazing show. We have beauty visionary John Demsey. He is in the building. He is responsible for transforming. Matt, pull up some of those photos because we're about to talk about the brands, world famous brands that he is responsible for transforming. Estée Lauder being one of them, turning it into a $100 billion cosmetic giant, also advocating for diversity, pushing hip hop stars, quite frankly, Black women to the forefront of those iconic MAC campaigns. You see that Rihanna right there. The Queen, Diana Ross, John in the background, oh so humble. Look at that. Amazing. So he is here. He is sharing his story, the new brands that he is now advising for, and the brands that he swears by. John, welcome to Passion and Faith. It is such a pleasure to have you.
I'm so thrilled to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
So, John, the whole point of our show is talking to successful people like yourself that have a real story to tell. You've gone through adversity. You are aware of what it's like to be on the other side now that you're on this side, the successful side.
Exactly.
So we want to address the elephant in the room. And you've talked about this.
Yes.
You were at the helm of Estée Lauder.
I was the executive group president of the Estée Lauder companies. I was the second executive in the company.
Number 2 guy. During the pandemic, you posted a meme, and I'm going to get my the folks that are watching up to speed who may not be familiar. You posted a meme of a Sesame Street character that used the N-word and said, you know, this guy done got the Rona at a Chingy concert. What were you thinking? Were you not thinking? Or did you feel so connected to the culture that you thought maybe perhaps you'd get a pass?
A few things. First of all, my career and the brands that became successful, a lot of it came from my understanding and love and involvement with pop culture and music and listening to the ground and participating in social media. During COVID, I became sort of famous or internet famous on Instagram that I would repost memes, and people would reach out to me and say, "You're making me smile. I'm so depressed. I can't leave my house." And so I constantly was receiving things in my feed and just doing things that were a little irreverent and fun and sometimes a little cheeky, sometimes a little naughty. On the particular day that this meme arrived in my feed, actually, the meme came from a Black content creator. I knew it was a Black content creator, and being north of 40, and Jewish, and I thought that I was sensitive to everything because would never do anything to disrespect or any community or anybody in my entire life. The meme used the N-word in the context of Big Bird visiting the Snuffleupagus dressed up as a granny from Little Red Riding Hood. And it said N.A.
So did you know it had the N-word before you
know
reposted
it was N.A, but I thought N.A was Nana, because to me, an old lady like Granny Goose was a Nana. I had never used the N-word in my entire life.
Okay.
And it's and the reaction, it was a moment.
It was
just
a moment.
Post George Floyd, and the thing that was so hard for me and hurtful for me was that actually the thing that actually I built my career on and was most famous for was actually inclusion and diversity. And I was the individual who was out front promoting talent of all ethnicities, of all ages, of all gender persuasions, from the very, 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 very beginning, almost to the point of it being an advocacy political issue. It defined who I was. And all of a sudden, the mistake of clicking too fast and not really reflecting on it in the right way went out there.
Well, let's talk about that because you mentioned something that I thought was very poignant because you had people on both sides, right? Black, white, who said, listen, there are a lot of folks that should be canceled. He is not one of them. Actually, someone who I work out with, Kim, she worked with you at Estée Lauder, and when she knew that I was doing this interview, she said, oh my God, I love John. So that was the collective. I put all that out there because, again, right, setbacks to setups, and at that time you were at a setback. It was a moment you realized who your friends were. Were you surprised by the people who didn't speak on your behalf, and also the brands that you worked with that may not have stood up?
Listen, it was, I still love my years at Estée Lauder. I have great friends and people that are almost like family members who work there. I have a close relationship with the Lauder family. Extremely sad with the recent passing of Leonard Lauder. I was hurt. There were many high-profile black celebrities who came to my defense.
June Ambrose being one of them that
but
comes to mind.
You know, Beth Ann Hardison.
Yes, of course.
But these are people, and they got attacked. They got attacked by standing up for me because they knew who I was. And there were people out there that decided to create a narrative on an outlet in a way that put it in a context that had no recognition in terms of who I was, what I did. It was a post that was up for 35, 40 minutes. My PR person called me and said, did you know what this was? And I said, oh my God. I took it down. Someone screen grabbed it, and it became like it burnt like wildfire.
Yes.
And it took place the same days that Russia invaded the Ukraine. So all of a sudden, on CNN and Fox and all the networks, my crisis, misrepresented, was actually running on the ticker tape with the invasion of Russia. So the shock of it and the trauma of it and being defined by something that does not reflect my work, who I am, the type of person I am, and my record was hurtful. I felt bad that I might have hurt somebody else or affected somebody else in the process, but it shook me to my very core. And because I had the blessing of being very successful, I was not an overnight sensation. I grew up in Cleveland, Ohio. I came to New York and worked my way up from the ground in retail and the Macy's Executive Training Program. No one ever gave me anything. I was an overnight sensation at 40 years old. There was, 18 years of work where I was doing a lot of grunt work and building my reputation and building my career. So it was an important inflection point. And other people would have folded up their tent or put their head under the covers or chosen just to try to go away. And did I have that thought for a second? I did. Did I feel sad, upset, guilty, angry, called out unfairly? All those emotions. What bothered me the most was it affected my family. I had a teenage daughter who was being cyberbullied. My parents, who were not well in Ohio, had reporters at their front door with cameras. So all of a sudden, I was being followed by the Daily Mail in New York City. So this became so much in the press that it was starting to define me. And I made the decision not to comment and to not become the cancel guy. And with my non-compete and with this time period, I had to bring myself close with the people that really matter and the people who really care. And it was very interesting who showed up and who didn't. And I took the time of reflection of rediscovering who John Demsey was. And I wasn't somebody who was defined by my job or what I did or who I know, but I'm defined by the kind of person I am and the type of work that I do. I did a book.
You did, and
I
we're
did.
going to
It's
talk
called
about that
it's called
book.
Behind the Blue Door.
Don't get into that just yet.
We're not going to get into that right now.
Because this is an
but
amazing book.
But
It's home.
I basically needed to rebrand myself and introduce myself to people who did not know me. And I guess, being older,
Seasoned. Being seasoned.
A little bit of mileage, but being seasoned, there, in our industry or in the entertainment world, most people over 38 or 40 years old know me, and I'm known around the world. But there are people in their 20s or teens who have no idea who I am.
Yes.
They have no idea the work that I've done.
So let's talk about it.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it, because that we addressed the elephant in the room.
We addressed the elephant in the room, but we're
going to move on.
We have a story of passion
Greatness.
and faith.
Yes.
And redemption and hard work, and the proof is in the pudding.
Absolutely. So I want to talk about, and to all of our viewers out there, please type in your questions. So we're going to go to Marley Ward. Let's talk about all the amazing work that you did at MAC, because I remember growing up and seeing those Viva Glam campaigns. You had Mary J. Blige were showing Winnie Harlow here. That was a little later on, but you had Little Kim, and it was truly a time where hip hop was taking off and moving into mainstream. And I want to know who was responsible, who recognized that there was an untapped market with hip hop and cosmetics.
So I can't take full credit for the original RuPaul idea. The founders of the company,
the Franks, I call them the Franks.
Frank and Frank, had hired RuPaul and had hired Katie Lang. When I arrived at MAC in 1998, first of all, I'm a kid who grew up in Cleveland, Ohio, listening to the Motown sound across Lake Erie. So black culture and black music always was something that was very important to me, something that I felt very much a part of. And I remember the number one song in 1998 was by TLC, and the song was called Unpretty.
Yes.
And the song was, it doesn't matter how much MAC you wear and who you are as a person.
Or you can buy your hair if it doesn't grow.
Yes,
That
and
was
I thought for a second, and because MAC was developed in Toronto, which is a very ethnically diverse community with a lot of immigrants from the Caribbean, West Africa,
yes,
other parts of the world, the skin tone was highly blended and brown.
Yes.
In general.
And I remember you could buy makeup,
yes.
MAC makeup for the girls.
Yes, so MAC was a brand that was developed from the very beginning based on inclusivity and diversity. And here I was, the guy from Estée Lauder, coming to this alternative, edgy brand, and everyone was looking like, what on earth would I do? And I was in Tokyo, and I was in like Harajuku, and they were playing Mary J. Blige everywhere. And I loved Mary J. Blige, and I loved hip hop. And I thought, this is the music not only of a generation, this is the music of the world. So I was the first corporate person to say that embraced hip hop. And my first Viva Glam moment was Mary J. Blige and Little Kim.
What?
And
what was that? 99, right?
Yes. And I leaned into hip hop and R&B and pop culture.
Yes,
and
you had Eve.
I had Eve.
Mary J. Tell us some of the names.
My God, the name goes on and on and on. First of all, Viva Glam, which is something I was very proud of being associated with, was a fundraising product where 100% of the proceeds went to the Viva Glam Fund, which gave money to men, women, and children affected by HIV and AIDS.
Yes, fast forward, MAC has donated billions at this point.
I raised a half a $1 billion. I did on the ground work with the United Nations in Africa, with Nelson Mandela, with Kofi Annan. I mean, we were making a difference in people's lives. And I signed the icons of generations. I discovered
Totally. That's the best way to describe it.
Between Rihanna,
yes,
and between
her campaign alone raised $50 million,
yes.
and I believe at the time it was the highest grossing campaign for MAC.
And that's when they knew that Rihanna should
artist.
be a brand. So that proved the point.
And look at her now
yes,
worth $1 billion with her own
Missy Elliott,
yes,
Christina Aguilera, Garbage, Elton John. I met Lady Gaga when she was still performing in a nightclub downtown, and Lady Starlight, her makeup artist, used to work at a MAC store. I signed Lady Gaga on her first commercial deal, and at the time, no one but myself believed in it, so they were nervous. We put Cyndi Lauper in the ad with her. Lady Gaga went on to become one of the most important voices, is one of the most important voices in the world. So I never shied away from embracing people who were bold, strong, inclusive, compassionate, that were putting it out there in a very, very, very interesting way, and weren't afraid to speak the truth and to do good. So it was something that my MAC years were beautiful years. I was associated with MAC for over 25 years.
And you made my years growing up, because growing up, I only remember seeing Black women for Fashion Fair and those campaigns. And Fashion Fair, for anyone that's familiar, love the brand, but it was designed for an older audience.
It was done by the Johnson family that did the publication Ebony in Chicago, and it was a very important line.
Totally.
But it never really. It's still around.
It's still around. It is.
I think Desiree Rogers runs the brand right now, who's a great person. But it didn't really understand fully the spectrum of even what it meant to be Black.
It didn't. That's an interesting.
Because what is
Tell us more
white?
about that.
What is Black? What is Asian? What is South Asian? The diversity, and based on bloodlines and relationships and intermarriage, the shades of skin and texture of skin are thousands of shades. And society historically, especially in the ethnic community, put a standard of beauty where everyone was supposed to be the same color. Because being the same color meant that you fit in, or you represented something that was a pre-described standard of beauty, either within that community or through an external look at it.
So you're saying Fashion Fair, that's where they failed?
They didn't fail. They were the first mover. They were loyal to that audience. They still are. But the definition of what brown skin represents is much, much bigger than it was back then. So it's as I said, I have tremendous admiration for the Johnson family. Eunice Johnson, what they did was earth-shattering, and I was inspired by them.
And back to the MAC campaigns, I was inspired as a young lady, just seeing the artists that I admired, the artists that I was listening to at that time, grace these beauty campaigns. It was just something that was unheard of, and it was right at a time where hip hop was really coming into the forefront, and we see where it is now. It's massive.
Hip hop was the culture of the world. It really was.
It was moving into that.
It was moving into that.
Yes.
And to the point that every suburban kid around the world thought he was a hip hop star.
Mm-hmm. And probably still does.
Probably still does.
I think we still have a little bit of that.
A little bit of that, but it was a beautiful time.
Absolutely. So I want to talk about your latest project, Gap.
Yes.
You are now working with Gap. They are launching a beauty line. Tell us about that. Is the line is supposed to be coming out this fall?
Well, I'll tell you a little bit about it because we're still kind of secret, but not so secret.
It's been released.
I know.
What do you mean secret?
First of all, I've been working with Richard Dixon, the CEO of the Gap, for the past 12 months, and I've put together a team of beauty experts and fragrance experts and skincare and makeup experts and industry experts, and I've created something that will debut actually in Old Navy in a test scenario in the fall season, which has its own.
We're in fall.
It's going to start. The first 10 doors are October 27th, and they will
Okay.
soft roll out to 48 test doors out of the 1,400 Old Navy stores, which is the largest specialty apparel retailer in the United States. And we created a brand around the Old Navy Beauty Company, which is a scent-first bath and body line. And this beauty destination will have some of your favorite products at great price points, discovery of new brands from Korea and Europe and indie brands in California, and a real Old Navy beauty vertical. At the same time, I'm fast at work, working with the amazing Gap team of reconceptualizing the Gap fragrances from the 1990s and bringing them back for a little bit of nostalgia.
I was just about to say that. What's old is new.
What's old is new. So it's very interesting. I'm an outside-in guy. I work on a lot of different projects, but we've put together a big team inside out, and I'm very excited to put something on the market and work with people that's accessible in price point and does something that's fun, different, and has a point of view. So
sounds exciting. We can't wait
exciting.
for that. So October 27th. I jumped ahead to the future, but I want to go backwards. I want to go back to the past for a quick second.
Sure.
Tom Ford, what was it? I'm going to swear I normally don't. Fuck you. Like, tell us about
Fucking fabulous. Well, first of all,
fucking fabulous. How did that conversation?
The story of Tom Ford is a great story for me because I'd actually, he had tried to hire me actually when he was running Yves Saint Laurent to run their beauty business. I went to Paris, had a drink with him. We talked about it, and I just said I couldn't possibly leave Estée Lauder, and we kept in touch. And when Estée Lauder passed away in the early 1990s, I wanted to do something to reimagine or recast the heritage and the power of what Estée Lauder meant to generations of women.
Okay.
And I invited Tom Ford in to guest edit the brand for 2 years. In return for that, I worked with Tom and amazing executives at Estée Lauder to build out the Tom Ford beauty brand. And at the time, not everybody was a believer.
Which is it's massive now.
And I did it before even the clothing existed, after he'd left Gucci. And we began with one fragrance, Black Orchid, and a collection of 12 fragrances called Private Blend. And we went to market doing things in a way that we wanted to do, and we didn't ask anybody for permission. And we tapped into Tom's innate talent, taste, audacity, sexiness, and strong point of view.
You're a very poised man, but there's an edginess about you.
There is.
There has to be, because you're doing these things that are not even, that folks aren't even tapping into.
Right. So fucking fabulous, or F ... fabulous. We were sitting in a room. We had a fragrance. We were trying to come up with a name. And Tom said, this one is really fucking fabulous. And I said, let's call it that. And I got a lot of pushback.
I bet.
From a lot of people. We had to do a safety version or a PG-13 version for many countries around the world. And interesting, the week that we launched Fucking Fabulous, which had a launch budget of about $600,000
What?
was the same week that Chanel had launched its new fragrance, Gabrielle, which had a $50 million budget. Fucking fabulous, got more earned media, and was more successful than Chanel's biggest launch in the last 10 years.
How about
And it
that?
showed me the power of celebrity, product, communication, and putting it out there in a different way.
Yeah, and going for
And
it.
just going for it.
Yeah, no, like holding no bars. Like,
And that's a
do it.
theme. That's a theme that goes across my life.
tell us about that, because it's hard. It's hard for a lot of us to tap into that and to trust that when it's innate.
But
To really trust it and
is-
pull it out.
It is innate, and it's something I've always had the ability of connecting with many people in various walks of life, in the real world, in other worlds. But it's something that, and I love. I'm a pop culture junkie.
I'm gonna
I'm a
test
voracious.
you.
I'm a voracious reader. I listen to music. I listen to Spotify every day and pull up the top selling songs in Sao Paulo or Nairobi or London or Paris. So I really want to know. And I have this amazing insurance policy that I've had this teenage daughter that I've been growing up with, and she's 17 now, and she's the customer. So
True.
So watching her friends, watching my 32-year-old niece, watching all my friends, watching all their children, I'm inspired by everybody and everything. And in my mind, long as you're kind and you don't do something bad to somebody else, I'm very bullish on everybody expressing themselves.
I love that you discussed how you're picking from your tribe in terms of being inspired, right? For the new brands that you're working on. You're also, we spoke of Poiré, the Korean.
Poiré is a brand that was the
Wait,
first.
before you get into that,
Yeah.
let me just say this really quickly. We spoke of the gap, and there was some pushback online
Yes.
in regards to why are we tapping an older white guy? Why are we not
Yeah.
looking for someone younger, more spicier to lead this campaign? What do you say to comments like that? Because it sounds like you're still very much so tapped in as to what's happening right now.
Well, for starters, I think that having some time and a perspective is important, because I know what came before. I've made more mistakes than successes, and I really know the business, the industry, and the global market. I have always surrounded myself with people under 35. I will never go into any creative or business situation that I don't have people that are going out every single night or that are living the life. And I feel as contemporary and young as someone half my age. And in some respects, I have more curiosity and more passion to understand what's trending and what's new than people who are in their early 20s. So
Okay.
I think it's ageist. However, I understand the point. I have a responsibility to raise up new generations of beauty talent and beauty voices.
Are
and
you doing
faces.
that? Are you
I
mentoring?
am. I'm actually, if you look at the landscape of most of the executives in the beauty industry around the world, or many of the independent lines, many of these people work for me at MAC. Many of these people actually are people that I was a champion of. So I've probably brought up 25 years of people who are bold-faced names with their own brands or in the beauty business or have important positions, because I believe in the youth.
Diverse group of folks as well?
I'm just as excited to speak to someone 95 years old as I am to speak to someone who's 8, because everybody's got something to say,
Absolutely.
and the way that they see it is unique to who they are and is inspiration.
All right, John. Well, we're starting to run out of time. I do want to squeeze in a few more questions because you're working with El Catterton.
I'm working with El Catterton.
El Catterton, excuse me, which is a conglomerate of a bunch of different brands. Can you tell us about these new projects that you have in the works?
Sure. Well,
the ones you can talk about.
Yes, El Catterton is a private equity firm dedicated solely to the consumer space. And I have been working on a lot of Steve projects that I can't talk about. But one that I'm very proud of is that I led the team to buy a brand that you'll be seeing a lot of in the United States by next spring called Kiko Milano. So Kiko Milano is the OG makeup brand from Milan that is 27 years old, that is the largest independent makeup brand in the world. And I am working right now with an amazing team to make Kiko Milano a global beauty sensation. So there's a lot in the dig site right now, but this is a business that does over $1.2 billion a year in business, and it is amazing product, all made in Italy, for a third the price of the products that you love, made in the same place.
So wait, once it comes to the U.S., don't tell me the price is going to get jacked up, right?
Not at all.
Okay, that's good.
You're going to be able to get your lipstick for $12.
And it have pigmentation.
It's going to be, it's got nothing but pigmentation.
Yes.
Payoff, wear, pigmentation, and good for you ingredients.
Okay.
So so that work has been really interesting. I've traveled all over the world, spent a lot of time in India, Asia, Europe, and across the United States. So it's fun being on the sell side versus being on the buy side for a change. So it's been very empowering, and the people who work there are amazing, and they were the first people who called me. So
when you say the first people that called you,
when I
went through your setback?
When I had my setback,
how about that?
A week later, I had a call.
How about that?
That was so they were the first mover.
Okay, and you were very humble about the brand. I mean, they have $37 billion in assets. And they have more than 275 investments.
Yes,
it's massive.
It's a village of amazing people and a great team, and I'm their beauty guy. So.
And you're our beauty guy.
Well, thank you.
Let's briefly talk about the book
before
we get out of here, because behind the blue door, for anyone, I have this at home. This is actually on my coffee table. It's a great conversation. And look, Alina Cho, that was Lady Gaga's former makeup artist. Or is it still her makeup artist these days?
No, Alina Cho is the journalist from CNN, fashion journalist. Lady Starlight was her makeup artist.
Okay.
But Alina Cho, in full transparency, is one of my best friends. And she's a writer in fashion and style. And Douglas Friedman, who's an amazing photographer, did all the photography in the book. And the reason why I did it, when the world decides to define who you are based on a narrative out of context.
This is your home?
Yes, this is my home. And I thought, like, what am I going to talk about? And I thought, like, well, the product that reflects me to the max is actually the way that I live. And this isn't about who I worked for. This is about my passion for discovery, embracing things artistic.
It's expression as well.
It's about personal expression, daring to be different, not for everyone.
And bold.
Totally. And living life boldly. And the idea of the timing of this was during this period of imposed self-reflection, I came to understand that you should not judge a book by its cover.
No doubt
about it. And I actually did a book that brought you into my creative process and who I am, not what I did.
Looking at you, I would never imagine that your home would be decorated.
And I did I did it with a close personal friend, Bibi Monahan, and I did it every single thing in that house I picked out myself.
Wow.
Every piece of art I discovered. Some of these artists I helped make famous. A lot of these are artists that I worked with in photography campaigns, doing fashion and beauty over the years. So
Okay.
it was my passion project.
It's pretty remarkable. We don't have enough time, John. Alina Cho, we were talking about you before we started, so I got the names confused, but shout out to you, John's bestie. I want to have some fun with you before we go.
Okay.
You mentioned that you are a man of the times and you are hip and you are witted. What's your favorite song right now? Give me your favorite hip hop song.
My favorite song right now, well, I was really, my song of the summer was The Weekend with
Okay.
Anita. I
don't even know that song, so you clearly
but
got me.
I think that's probably the one. I mean, I'm in a Taylor Swift mode right now. I'm in a Doechii mode
Yes.
right now.
Love Doechii, Taylor
I
Swift too.
I like.
What do
I
you
like.
put on when it's time to get riled up?
I
What are
go
you
onto
listening to?
Spotify. I choose a dance playlist of the top 100, and I choose a music genre. So it could be Afro beats or hip hop or Latin
Okay.
or world music or the top 50 songs in Nigeria with Burma Boy. And then I'll pick a country western station
Yes, yes.
or listen to K-pop. So I like, because
Music.
music is the connectivity of the world.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. John, this was fun. You're a girl dad. I'm going to ask, and we got to go. Since you're a girl dad, is that what keeps you grounded?
It does. Being a girl dad and being in the beauty business and watching how she relates and how she discovers things and why she buys the things that she buys educates me every single day. To understand the new generation and the new media, you have to be in it.
Totally. Totally. John, how can folks find you? This was so fun. I wish we had more time. How can we find you?
How can you find me? Well, you can find me on my Instagram feed at J Demsey.
Okay. Are you controlling that these days?
I do it all myself.
Okay.
I always did.
Oh,
I
yes.
always did. You can
Find you at the Blue Door.
you can find me in fine bookstores across the nation. You can buy my book on Amazon,
Yes.
Behind the Blue Door by John Demsey. It's on. I don't know if it's on sale this week or not on sale this week.
If it is, get it. It's
You
worth
can
it.
find me on LinkedIn and Facebook.
Okay.
And there I am.
And there you are. And there we are. Thank you so much, John. This was
Thank you.
wonderful.
I really, really enjoyed it, and I love your podcast, and I love the way
Thank you.
that you embrace life with passion and faith, because that's what's kept me going.
That's all we got.
That's all we got.
Yeah.
Without it, there's nothing.
All right. All right, Matt, the man behind the podcast, start the music. Let's see if you got some moves, John. You said you like. Let's see what you got.